Okay, the Rutgers locker room is now open. We're going to start with a statement from the head coach and then questions for the student athletes first. At this time, Coach Stringer, if you can make a statement.
What a great game. We played hard. I thought that Seton Hall did an outstanding job as well, and just played extremely hard. So I want to compliment the Seton Hall team, and we're glad to have gotten that game under our belts. And in particular, I'm really proud of the entire team, but most especially the seniors, who everybody knows, have been everything in the world to me. So it's nice to see that game and to let and allow the seniors to return to that spot that they know that we belong, and they belong certainly.
Okay, questions for the student athletes. Back row.
Vivian, what happened to Kalia at the end of the game?
She cramped. She cramped. You can see that. I think a couple of years ago, you remember when Kia Vaughn, actually Dr. Monaco, was on the train on his way back, and she went into all kind of spasms, and she obviously cramped. And that's the same thing that happened. She played so hard, and we've been concerned about that. There are several players, but in particular her. And she didn't have a lot of weight, as you know. So you got to do what you got to do. So we'll hopefully get her some IV, get some fluids in her body, and get her a little rested.
Student athlete questions in front.
Betnijah, we talked about you gaining more and more confidence on the three all year. Is that kind of what went into this? Because 4 threes, you never made more than 2, so now you're a three-point shooter.
It's definitely something that I've been working on. We're not known as a three-point shooting team, and down the stretch, if we're going to be able to, stay in the game, going against teams that shoot the three, we have to be able to knock them down, and that's something I've been working on, and I'm definitely more confident with it, and I'm shooting it.
Go ahead.
Girls, both of you, Tyler and Betnijah, you guys had control of the game most of the time, but then all of a sudden it was 56-56, and actually, Tyler, I think you got back-to-back layups. Just how were you guys able to stay in front every time they pushed you, first half, second half?
Just to remain calm. We can't allow for that to allow us to get anxious and take us out of our game. We just had to stay calm and stick to the game plan and not allow that to frustrate us.
Tyler, can you answer that?
I think our defense is what kept us going. We got when it was 56-56, I think we got 2 back-to-back steals, which put us ahead. So our defense kept us ahead of Seton Hall.
Any other questions for the student athletes? Back row.
To be able to get in the second round and win your first NCAA tournament game, what does it mean, Betnijah?
It means a lot, especially with this being our first appearance in a couple years. And the last time I was here at the NCAA, we didn't make it to the second round. We lost our first game. So, it's like another step for us.
Tyler, sorry.
Go ahead.
Tyler, how much trouble did their full court pressure cause the guards? It seemed like when they did that kind of caused some turnovers and got them back in the game.
Yeah, I feel like we just rushed a little bit too much. It wasn't even really a press. It was just kind of laid back, but we got the, acting crazy and throwing the ball away and stuff. So we should have been more calm with the ball instead, because it wasn't really a press.
Right here.
Tyler, personally, how does it compare being in the NCAA tournament, hitting those big shots at the end of the game, as it did for you last year in the MIT?
Yeah, it's the same. I'm not going to downgrade, WNIT or nothing. It's the same to both games, big games, and I'm just happy the shots went in.
Anything else for the student athletes? Okay. You guys are dismissed back to the locker room.
Thank you.
25 minutes are left on the open locker room for Rutgers. At this time, we'll take questions for the head coach. We'll start in the front.
Vivian, 7 3-pointers from a team. You made your first 3. That had to surprise you, right?
You're surprised, aren't you? Yeah. It was interesting because the day in shoot-around, we do what we call screenshots, but today I just allowed them to pair up and shoot the ball, and Betnijah, that's all she shot was 3s. And I said, now you need to get a little bit closer, because you know how the people come at you and you need a short fake and put it down, but I guess it paid off, and it was good to see Cynthia But I think that we needed to get a better understanding with her, for example. We know that that's what she's supposed to do. But so often we'll run a pattern that the ball will come to her and then she'll just shoot it anyway, but she's not balanced because everybody expects that, and that's unfair to her. So we were just asking our team to know that when Rachel was in, because Rachel really, we didn't really plan to play her for more than 4 or 5 minutes. And same thing with Cynthia. Play her 4 or 5 minutes, be very specific about what we're trying to do, and we're just going to do our best to find her. So she felt good because she knew that she wasn't rushed. We would somehow find her within what we're doing, and it was nice. You add that with Betnijah, and it makes a world of difference.
Right here.
Barring an historic upset that might be unfolding out there in the court tonight, you'll probably face UConn in the next game. Just what is the challenge of going up against a program of that level, the way they're playing the last few years?
Well, I mean, UConn is a storied program. I'm so glad that that I'm really familiar. I knew exactly when I walked in the locker room, I knew to go to my right. I knew that's the coach's room. I knew the coaches. It's amazing, you know. We're familiar with the area, but there's no getting around that. I mean, it's a great program and one that all of us strive to measure up to. And so Gino's done an outstanding job. And but we're happy that we have an opportunity to play this program. And you might say why, and the reasons for that are very clear. First of all, you don't assume anything. You know, you might take the odds. You probably bet money somewhere else that UConn is going to do certain things. But keep in mind, the game's not over until it's been played. And so, as several of my players wrote to me, you know, several years ago, people counted us completely out as well. So we're not going to lay down. But we also have there's a lot that we can learn. And we're excited to have an opportunity to showcase who we are and what this is all about, and to come here to Connecticut and play.
Over here, and then we'll come back here.
Coach, after the last 2 seasons, what you've seen from Seton Hall, if offered, would you schedule them next year?
After the next 2 seasons, will we play Seton Hall?
After what you've seen from Seton Hall in the previous 2 seasons under Coach Bozzella, would you schedule them next year if it was offered to you?
I don't think that there's a question about it. They're outstanding. Their team is great. They play well together. They represent our state. They represent the nation. That's an outstanding job of the players as well as the coaches. So that has nothing to do with it. I think that we need to measure our RPI, as you know how major that is, and Seton Hall is not going to hurt us because their RPI is quite good as well. So that's good. But you know, it depends on how many games we have and what we're doing. As you can see, we flavor. We're going to play the teams from the SEC. We're going to play teams from the ACC. And we're going to the Virgin Islands. So there's a lot of things, and it's no disrespect to Seton Hall. We very well may be playing Seton Hall. We very well may be playing Princeton. I've got to look at it, I'm sure, with my athletic director. We're going to look at that and see what's the benefit of that. Because the next question that you're going to ask, because it's going to come over here, is when are we going to schedule UConn, right? All right, good, because I've already been asked that. But I'll help you out with that. It's tough. It makes for a great crowd. I mean, great fan support and all that. But I'm gonna look at a lot of things. It's always good to play UConn. I saw where South Carolina lost to UConn. You know, like a month or so. Well, that's good. You might say why? Because the next time they meet them, should that happen, they're not going to be nearly as in awe as they are. So I believe that if you want to be the best, you got to play the best. So it gives you something to measure to. And with that in mind, keep in mind that the Big Ten is for real. You know, we took some losses and we deserve to take those losses. It was rough. It was rough going. So we've got to look in and see what makes sense. Because at the end of the day, to play everybody and for us to not, you know, do some damage and for us not to have gotten some confidence because we're losing major players. SE is major for us. Betnijah Laney is major for us. And so to consider all that, we got to also make sure that we don't have an experience by fire. We don't douse them into that and then have them psychologically broken, you know, before they even get started. So a coach thinks about all of that. If it was me, I'd just bring them on, let's just play, you know, but we're also considering all of that.
Over here on the right.
Nice to see you again, Coach. I was actually going to ask you talked about the familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't been in this building as the home team very often. Is that why your players went the wrong way at the beginning of the game?
You noticed that?
I
You
just
noticed
noticed that.
I did
but
too.
I thought it might be because the seniors have been here
Right.
several times.
Right.
And that's the direction they always went.
I noticed that as well, and I thought, oh boy, I hope we're not starting off wrong. Believe me, I wondered, but at times I question that. But I'm really familiar with this building. I mean, this is just history. You know, the players are just outstanding, and they have a great facility, a brand new facility next door, and they deserve that. You know, they deserve that kind of recognition. And the credit that they've gotten. But I'm sure that Gino just doesn't take it for granted. If he took it for granted, they would be sloppy, but they're not. They're sharp, they're precision, and they know how to play basketball. So we will continue to work every day to be as good as we can possibly be.
Right here in front.
Vivian, you mentioned Essie. Any update? We saw her with a brace on her leg. Any of what's going on with her? Any chance she plays against UConn?
Tell you the truth, I was going to find out how long. Rachel, I'm stunned that she even played 25 minutes. We told her she was going to play 5 minutes in the first half and 5 minutes in the second half because she has not practiced. She practiced yesterday for maybe 10 minutes. Since that Northwestern game when she got the MCL tear, as well as Essie. Essie just had a worse tear. Both of them happened in the same game. Because I didn't, but I was assured that we couldn't do any further damage by our trainer. That's one. And then two, I was just wondering, even conditioning-wise, you know, if she was going to be okay. We tried to go to her a couple times. I think that, you know, she, you know, had some problems with that. But, I mean, clearly she made a big doggone difference with us. And so, Essie, to be honest with you, Essie is, her strength is her speed. You know what I mean? And that's been taken. That's really been taken. We need to buy 40 minutes. So that means that we would have to win our game against UConn. Let's lay it like this. We would have to win and buy some time before we can even hope that she's going to be there. And so we're shocked that she's not been able to come back as much as we would like, but that's not happening.
Okay, in the back, real quickly though, 15 minutes left on the open locker. Go ahead.
Betnijah's performance, 17 and 12, played all 40 minutes. Is that what you expect from a senior?
I thought I took her out for a second, didn't I?
It says 40 plus.
I know. I wonder what these shot clock people are doing.
That means that she came out, but it wasn't.
Oh, but it wasn't for any time. Oh, that's good. Good to know. I didn't know that all this time. I was wondering how she got a little extra time. Thanks, girl. That was good. Betnijah, you know, that girl is a competitor, isn't she? Just a tremendously fierce competitor. You could tell by the way she rebounded, the way that she shot the ball. She is, without question, one of the top competitors that I've ever coached. She was not going to lose this game. You know, she was going to go down. She was not going to go down without a fight. And we as coaches feel so good when we know we have somebody there that's there. But I thought that right from the beginning, before we even went out, a lot of our fans are happy that we were, you know, we did well. But honestly, I haven't seen that kind of reaction. They were just they were anxious to get out there and play. You know, they were like, come on, let's go. Sometimes you have to calm people down with that. But Betnijah, and that's why she came out for a second. I was just asking her, just calm down, channel. You can do much better. Settle down. And then I'm not surprised. She's going to play hard all the time.
Anything else for Coach? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.